This is Audible.
Penguin Random House Audio presents Atlas of the Heart, mapping meaningful connection in the language of human experience. I'm the author, Brené Brown. I want to let you know that this program includes a downloadable PDF that contains illustrations from the book. I want to also tell you that as a major audiobook listener, I know that you're probably driving or walking or jogging or doing laundry or waiting in carpool line, and you may not want to stop and look at a PDF as a reference. I know that I don't normally listen that way. So what I'm going to do is make sure that you have the full book, including the illustrations, in this audio. You can grab the PDF when you want to, when it's convenient, but you won't be missing anything. You can just listen straight through. My dedication is to PC and BT. You don't know me, but you actually do. Love, TJ. Introduction. Heart is sea, language is shore. Whatever sea includes will hit the shore. Rumi. How it started. I am not a sentimental keeper of things. Maybe it's because I come from a long line of people who hold on to everything, every receipt and photo and old department store box. From the time I was in my early 20s, I often had the unenviable task of packing up the houses of relatives who could no longer live at home or who had died. If the movie montage version of this chore exists, I've never experienced it. It's miserable. First, no one in my family is going to admit that they might at some point get sick or die. My people die with a look of defiance on their face and shit in every drawer. This leaves me and my sisters packing, crying, cussing, and using every single tool we've learned in therapy to resist turning on one another when we're exhausted. That's actually the only time we laugh, when one of us says, I wish I could take out my rage on y'all, and the other two, without even looking up, go, yeah, same. There's nothing sweet about packing up. It's hard physical work and an emotional minefield. Do I keep it? Do I trash it when no one's looking? Should I feel bad? Am I bad? Maybe I should just box it all up and let my kids deal with it when it's their turn. As far as my own stuff goes, I was Marie Kondo before Marie Kondo was cool. Just like I'm convinced that my car goes faster after I get an oil change, I can feel my house sighing with relief when I take 5 bags of stuff to the local shelter. There's a lift and a lightness and a sense of control. The house stands a little straighter without the extra weight, and I feel freer with a little less baggage. Becoming a parent made the purging tricky. In 1999, when I was pregnant with Ellen, I saw something on TV, and it was like a reality show or a movie or something that showed how a mother had kept all of her son's drawings and used them to decorate for his wedding rehearsal dinner. Jesus, so much pressure. From that point forward, every one of the 5,684 pieces of art that my kids brought home became an emotional negotiation about their rehearsal dinner. At some point, I realized that unless I was hosting this dinner in a stadium, one box of curated pieces was enough. I saved some, I framed and hung pieces all over the house, I photographed some of them, and when no one was looking, I put the rest in the garbage, way down deep where no one could see. So given my tendency to throw out everything, I'm always fascinated when I come across an old box of my own stuff. I mean, I must have thought something was really important if it warranted saving. If you put all of my memorabilia and artifacts together, you would get the most accurate story of who I was and what I valued at any one point in my life. And you'd probably need no more than a standard issue dining room table to lay it out. I came across this old college paper several years ago when I was starting this book. It's not a great or even a very good paper, but it knocked me off balance for a few months. I mean, I'm looking at this paper, and the title of it, of course, it's written in script, not on a computer, just written on, ruled paper. And the title of the paper is Why We Feel the Pain We Feel. It starts out with this line, throughout our lives, we must experience emotions and